You ever felt discouraged, like completely disheartened or unmotivated? Well, tap in with me today because that's what I'm going to touch on. What's up, y'all? And welcome back to the Confident Hustle Diaries, where we're built on confidence and driven by purpose. Y'all know who it is. And for those who don't know, I'm Kyla B, and I am the host of this show. Now, listen. Your girl has been going through it lately. And I feel like I always start the podcast with that, but ain't gonna lie, your girl has been going through the fire. All right. Life has been tough, like real tough. But you know what? You know what? I can say this God is cultivating resilience in me through this season. And He's teaching me not to quit, but to rise up and to be more than a conqueror. Because you know what? How can you be a conqueror if you don't go through a battle or go through a valley on those low places? Because honestly, that's where the champions are made. I keep fighting and I fought my way back here. And we are back with episode 3. Yes. So even while I was preparing this episode, y'all, I caught a cold for real. Your girl got a little sick. And at least for me, if I'm sick, I don't feel like doing anything because I be down bad. But I'm showing up because I know God has something for me to do here today. Which leads me into today's talk. And that is showing up. So showing up even when you don't really feel like it, learning how to bypass your brain's wiring of comfort and getting whatever it is you need to get done. Because let's be real, sometimes it's hard. It's easy to press snooze in the morning because you don't want to wake up. Or it's easy to say, I'll get to it tomorrow, or just check out completely because you feel discouraged and drained. And I'm not going to lie, y'all. That's me sometimes too. I get comfortable, I get doubtful, I wrestle with insecurity and hesitation. I'm no perfect being. I'm just like a lot of you. But the truth is this, all those feelings are not from God. And see, when you stop showing up, it's often because you stop believing in what God said or in your ability to carry it out. And when belief dies, consistency dies also. But you grow up a little bit, you mature, you get a little older, got a little white hairs on me, and you learn some things and you've been through some things. But everything that I've learned and I've been through, it's made my belief in God stronger. And now I know the importance of showing up. And guess what? Guess what? Showing up is bigger than you. So, whatever God is pulling you towards, that dream, that vision, that assignment, it's not just about you. It's about who will be blessed through you. And that leads me into today's Bible story reading. So, let's hop into the book of Haggai. Some of y'all probably haven't even heard of Haggai before, but congratulations. You know another book. All right. So, we're back in Israel with the Jews from the Babylonian exile. Yes, the same ones from episode 1. So if you haven't heard that episode yet, go back and check it out. Stop playing with me. Okay? Anyways, so the people of Israel were released from their exile and they're back home. They're getting settled. So just like most people will probably do, they're rebuilding their homes, they're sowing crops and harvesting, basically trying to do everything they can to kickstart their society and the economy again. And that's valid. It's valid. But here's where the issue lied. Nothing they were doing was working. Their crops failed, their money disappeared, and nothing was prospering. They were struggling bad. But why? Well, they were ignoring their assignment. They weren't showing up. They were supposed to be rebuilding the temple of God, and they were ignoring it on purpose. And you're probably thinking, why, right? Like, why were they ignoring their what they're supposed to be doing on purpose? So check it out. In Haggai chapter 1, verse 7, the Lord is speaking through the prophet Haggai to the new governor of Israel, Zerubbabel, and the high priest Joshua. And the Lord said through Haggai, consider your ways. Go up to the mountains, bring wood, and rebuild the temple that I may be pleased with it and be honored. You start ambitious projects, but behold, it comes to little. I blow it away. Why, declares the Lord of armies? It's because of my house, my temple, which remains desolate while each of you runs his own house. Dang, that's crazy, right? To translate, God said, you're not flourishing because you've left my purpose undone. God was not letting these people get ahead because they were ignoring their assignment. So, again, why were they ignoring their assignment? They were ignoring their assignment because they were discouraged. Life beat them down a lot. See, the previous temple that was built by King Solomon before this exile even took place. Yeah, King Solomon, the wisest and richest guy ever in biblical history, the one with the 700 wives. Yeah, him. See, when Solomon did something, he went all out. It was magnificent because he had it like that. He was wealthy. So the people during his reign were able to see and celebrate around the temple and its splendor. You had these huge festivals, national holidays around the temple, and now the very thing they were proud of in their country was now in ruin. The very thing they used to celebrate was in ruin. So some of these people from his reign, they're coming back from exile. To them, building seemed pointless because it was never going to be what it was before. And just like some of you, me included, we avoid things because going back to them reminds us of pain, disappointment, and failure. And we don't want to try again. See, that last business failed. That last idea flopped. But God says, come back and rebuild. I don't know who this is for today, but some of y'all have had businesses that failed, ideas that were tarnished, people shot your ideas down, career lanes that didn't turn out so well, but God wants to recultivate something through you. God wants you back to your true assignment because he's not done with you. And like Zerubbabel in Haggai chapter 2, verse 23, God wants to make you like a signet ring because he's chosen you for that business and he's chosen you for that career field and that project. God is going to restore what was lost and give you favor. But you need to come back and rebuild that kingdom assignment. So stop avoiding, stop doubting. This is for you to build. That's why you can't get it out of your mind. It's on repeat because you're meant to build it. Yeah, life happened. You failed a couple of times, but God wants you back in front of the blueprint and he wants you to build again. It says in Haggai chapter 2, verse 4, God says to take courage and work, for I'm with you. Then he says in verse 9, the latter glory will be greater than the former. So God is saying today, what's coming next will be greater than what was lost. And I don't know who this may be for, but maybe you don't understand how powerful a signet ring is. In Haggai chapter 2, verse 23, God tells Zerubbabel, I will make you like my signet ring, for I have chosen you. A signet ring represents authority. It sealed royal decrees and it made things official. So when God calls you his signet ring, he's saying to you, you carry my authority. And what I've chosen you to build is legally and spiritually binding. That means what you build now under his direction will last. So God said, come back and rebuild. Yeah, things were bad before and it messed up and you failed, but God is with you this time and he wants you to rebuild that kingdom assignment. And to be honest, you weren't even supposed to be building that anyway. You were supposed to be doing what God told you to do. So, yeah, you lost a lot of money with that business because that's not even what God wanted you to do in the first place. And for someone else, yeah, you failed that test more times than not. And by now, you're expecting to be at a place you thought you were supposed to be in by now. So, because things didn't work, you're lollygagging around and you're avoiding because you don't want to face it again. But God said, come back and try again. This time, it's going to be better than before. So, show up again, take courage, stop avoiding, work at it again, try again, rebuild again. Some of y'all have gifts. You guys have gifts that you sleep on too much. And God's like, that's the gift that's going to take you somewhere. That's the gift that's going to touch millions of people. But you're sleeping on it because it's not the same gift as this guy who made $1 million or whatever it is. Stop looking at those people and look at your assignment. Because if you stay with your assignment, it probably can turn to millions. But you're sleeping on your gift. Out of your feelings, get back to it, show up. Let me give y'all 3 reasons why you should show up. And I would think after what I said before will be enough, but I might need a little push. So number 1, showing up is obedience to God's plan. Let me say that again. Showing up is obedience to God's plan. Like what I mentioned before, the people of Israel knew deep down they needed to rebuild that temple. But because they chose to ignore it and drift off into their own priorities, God did not allow them to flourish in whatever they did. God had to grab their attention because they needed to rebuild what was bigger than them. So Israel missed blessings because they ignored God's blueprint. So don't make that same mistake. You can't walk in divine favor doing your own thing. Follow his plan. That's where the power is. All right, which leads me to number 2. Showing up isn't just about you. Everything that you do in this life isn't about you. That's why it's so important for you to show up to God's plan and build whatever he is calling you to, because you never know. That business you're hesitating on, it might feed somebody's family. That degree you're afraid to pursue, it might position you to open up doors for others. God doesn't just have your future provision in mind. He's also thinking about other people's provisions in mind. And he's ready to do that through you. You never know. You might create something or start something that can impact hundreds of thousands or millions of people. So show up. Let's come on. And number 3, showing up means believing in yourself and believing in the vision. If you believe in yourself and what God has given you to build, you'll keep showing up despite the results. And if you're struggling to show up, you might need to sit down and figure out your why and your mission, because your why and your mission might be a little weak. Your why and your mission needs to be powerful enough to the point where if you're having one of those I don't feel like it days or I'll get to it tomorrow moments, you'll bypass those feelings and power through it because you know that your purpose is important. Whatever you're avoiding that God wants you to do is important, and it's not just about you anymore. And God wants to build something in you. God wants to do something in you. All right, my kingdom builders, that is all I have for you today. Now go show up, show out, and be great. If this message blessed you, share it with someone who needs to rebuild. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to leave a review for your girl. My name's Kyla B, and this is the Godfinite Hustle Diaries. And until next time, stay Godfinite and keep building what he's called you to build. Get to it. Bye for now.